Yo, what is up, you guys? I'm DeAndre.
I'm Javante.
And this is Dre and Jay. And we're here today to do our review for Avatar, The Way of Water. Or is it The Way of the Water? The Way of Water, yes. Avatar, The Way of Water. And, yeah, let me give my congratulations to James Cameron. Because, he after 13 years waiting, a lot of people low-key were starting to feel disconnected from the franchise or from the first film and be like, you know what, it feels like it's been too long. I'm not going to be as amused with the second one because, again, I've lost interest, but he found a way to get me back on. Like, that shit was amazing to me. I think about it and... I think James Cameron, low-key, this is my new theory now. I think he's a low-key a time traveler. I have a reason for that. Because when you see the amount of detail that he puts into this world of Pandora, it is almost like he has been there. Like he has seen it. So my prediction, my new theory is that James Cameron is a time traveler who time traveled about, let's say, about 100 years for Avatar to see the world of Pandora. He traveled about 300 years to see the world being taken over by machines and robots, and that's how he came up with the script for the first two Terminator films. Then he traveled back in time when the Titanic sunk, so he can record and document everything that went on there. Because that's just how James Cameron does it. That's how I see him doing it now. Like that's my running theory. But yeah, man, the CGI, bro, it was worth it. I think worth the wait as far as waiting for the new technology to come in and for them to shoot. Because for me, I think the underwater CGI and the motion capture, the fact that they did a motion capture underwater as well, it's some of the most impressive shit that I've seen from like an underwater film, like for seeing shot underwater, And like there were questions concerns I had about going into this movie as far as like, wait, how is Sigourney Weaver getting brought back? How is Quaritch, the villain from the first film, Quaritch, Stephen Lane, how is he being brought back in this film? And they did a good job at explaining it within the first 5 to 10 minutes. Like, okay, all right, I'm sold. Moving on. It's not plot, like the plot isn't this complex, this unique plot. However, as far as the visuals just keep you in throughout, so you don't even realize that it's a 3-hour movie. To me, I didn't feel like it was 3 hours because, again, I was entertained throughout. Whether it was just, even if the scenes were slow, just visually, I was stunned by it. And again, the plot. In regards to the plot, I feel like the first one, it feels like more of a complete story, and I understand why in the first one, because the first one, you had the beginning, you had the middle, you had the end, and they didn't know that they were making sequels. They made the first movie and they were waiting and getting the results on that. James Cameron, he knows he's making multiple sequels after this, so there are some things that are addressed in this film, minor details that are kind of big, but they're not really emphasized as much in this film, but I know they're probably saving that for future films, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. So again, for the plot, I'm fine with it not being this complete story because I know it's something that's going to be fleshed out, and when we look at the whole franchise, it's going to be a well-told story. So it was also very emotional compared to the first one, and a lot of it has to do with having that family dynamic established, and it felt very real to me.
Anything else to add?
Nah. You know anything?
I would say seeing this film, you immediately go back into the world of Pandora, even if you haven't seen it in a while. Probably should watch it again, but if you haven't, you can go right into it without seeing the first one and, get an idea what's going on. Like I said, I agree with a lot of things he said. I disagree with some things, but I agree with a lot of things he said. I thought it looks amazing. The water scenes are dope. James Cameron really does put a lot of detail into the Pandora and everything like that. To me, the story lacks in some ways. And I feel like your whole I don't mind the story not feeling complete because I know there's multiple. I disagree with that because I feel like even if you're making multiple films, you still have to close out each film with an ending if you're gonna even continue on. You look at most films, you look at like Star Wars or stuff like that. Like they still like the Star Wars franchise. You look at they close out every film is closed out in a way where it's like, okay, this is its own movie. Even though it's part of a bigger plan.
But again, you look at Star Wars when they make those Star Wars movies, and like let's say the original, the prequel, they know it's only a trilogy. It's 3 movies. With Avatar, it's 6 or 7 at this point.
But still, even look up. Okay, look, I'll take this. Early Marvel movies, right? Closed out. You can say lately they probably got them a little more, but they lead you on to the next movie. But early on Marvel, even they were doing movies where they like, hey, this is a movie that can stand on its own.
But again, they weren't making when they made those movies. It wasn't. They didn't have a definitive like, oh, we're already getting greenlit for a sequel. We already. I
mean, pretty much they were. But what I'm saying is like, you still have, even if you know you're gonna do more movies, you still have to have a complete storyline because you complain about Halloween for that reason of not feel like a complete storyline always, and not feel like a complete ending. Leading to the next one, which is why I'm saying.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I was Halloween, the last one. Never mind. That doesn't have that. Never mind. My point is, I look at it, I'm like, every film should feel complete. So the fact that you're saying, oh, it's okay, that's not feeling complete because I know there's more. It's like kind of like, eh. But
because I know it's a chapter in a story, but I don't know. I mean, there are some movies where like it's that long and they're complete, like Harry Potter. Harry Potter, there's seven movies, but also there's books that have beginning to end, so they can do that. Like it's easy for them to put a full story in that.
And also I'd like to add, as far as runtime, it is long. It does feel long at times to me. I thought there's moments where it kind of gets stagnant and you have a scene that's going a little too long. I did feel that way. I was like, okay, let's pick up the pace a little bit, let's keep it moving. I feel like they were sticking on some scenes a little too long. So I think pacing could have been a little bit better. As far as the story, again, I feel like I don't know how you're going to do 6 more movies of this because I feel like the story is very simple. And I think if you didn't like the first movie, you're not going to like this one. I'm confident saying if you didn't like the first one, you're probably not going to like this one either. And I think it's a fun movie. I really enjoyed this movie, but I feel like the story is very stagnant. I don't feel like you can really make 6 movies out of this. And I think that we're giving James Cameron a pass because the visuals look amazing. But I feel like story-wise, it's the same thing we got in the first movie. With small little changes in between.
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
And that's only going to last for so long because eventually I'm like, we need more to this story.
Well, there's obviously going to be some more to this.
I mean, I don't think so because it's basically about conquering, basically. The military... I'm saying, but how many... You can't do 6 movies of just that. Like, you got to do something else also.
Okay.
There's got to be more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that can't just be the whole story, I don't feel. I feel like that's too similar. Like, I feel like all the movies pretty much feel like the same thing.
Okay.
With just different tribes and stuff.
It's funny because you were not saying all this shit when we immediately left the theater.
Well, yeah, we waited a couple days before we do the review. You wait a couple days because you have to think of things. You have to sit down and actually think about what the fuck you saw. Yeah, right after the movie theater, you're like, oh man, this is the best. This is a great movie. I still think it's a great movie. I'm not knocking the movie. I'm just seeing faults, and I'm saying like certain things are gonna be like, can you really make 4 more movies like this?
I mean, I have faith in James Cameron moving forward.
Let me ask you this question. Do you feel like this movie is different than the first one as far as story wise?
Yes. I think this movie adds a lot as far as that family dynamic. That is great because I do like. Hold on. I do like a lot of the new characters that they brought on. That's something I'll.
That's fine. I'm not talking about it that way though. I'm talking about as far as story, like the story itself. What the goal? Plan A to Plan B is the goal, not the family and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about straight just storyline. Do you feel like it's strong enough in this movie?
Yeah, it was fun. It wasn't bad. It was okay.
But it's not like the same thing as the first one, pretty much. Just continued on.
But but I mean, it's different. It's different as far as the environment that it's taking its place in.
Yeah, but it's not a different story. We're still doing the same thing. We're still torturing the natives. We're still trying to kill the natives, and we're still trying to take the land and get them off the land.
Okay, then what would you want in a different story?
I don't know. I don't know that. I'm just saying I would like to see something. I want to see something new. Like I'm saying, I don't know how you can do 4 more movies of this same type of thing. You gotta change it up in some way. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, well, that's how you feel. But look, the characters, I enjoyed a lot of the new characters, especially because, as we, Jake and Terry have kids in this movie. So one thing I liked about them, they all were... I just like the character descriptions. Like as far as how distinct they were and how different they were. But yet they took after... You can tell, like, which ones took after their parent. So I really like that distinction between them. Took, adorable. She was my favorite. But I really liked them. They were a nice addition. Stephen Lane as the villain again, great. Thought he was amazing in this one. I actually liked him better in this one than the first one, surprisingly. And I just miss that, especially when it comes to some of these blockbuster films. When it comes to villains, because we've seen recently where like villains, they're always layered. They have these backstory. They're kind of they from their perspective or their point of view. You could see it as you could see it as something good, something that they're doing good. And in this film, no, they're just complete dits. They're bad
No,
guys.
I disagree, because I think you can look at him and say, yeah, she's not layered to that extent, but he did let that child. He did do things for some characters that were kind of out of his character from the beginning.
Like what?
Well, I'm not going to spoilers.
Okay, well,
but there's certain things he did in this movie that were out of character for him, for what we've been seeing as portrayed. So he does have layers. So they do show that he has a different layer to him than just what we've seen in the first movie.
Well, I'm going to respectfully disagree. The guys were bad in this film. They were clearly bad guys. I'll state that, which I miss. So I enjoyed that. I also like the introduction of like new different tribes of Na'vi people. We get the Water Tribe, which you can clearly tell by the face tattoos and some of the things they do in this movie that they're inspired by the Maori people or Maori culture. So I really like that aspect. I just love the more of the connection with the environment of Pandora, Iwa, a lot of the other creatures that you see. So again, I loved a lot of the new additions in this film. I enjoy it. It's something that I have seen twice already. Maybe I might see it a third time. I don't know. But it's definitely a movie where you have to see it in 3D HD for at least one time, just for the experience. And honestly, once you see it that way, you kind of don't want to see anything below that ever again. But again, I enjoyed it. I thought if I had to give Avatar: The Way of Water a grade, I'd probably give it a 9.5 out of 10. But yeah, it was a very fun, action-packed adventure film that really gave a unique visual experience, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I like it better than the first one. For me, if I had to give it, I'd get an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, non-spoilers. We're about to get into spoiler territory. So, beware. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So, go ahead. What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about he saved his son, bro. He literally let the girl go to save his son.
Yes, that's his son. That's
no, it's not, because he said the whole movie sets him up saying that has no relation to me. You are not related to me. Your father's dead. I may have his memories, but you are not related to me in any way. And they show him in a way where he's sure he's the kid's helping him. It's like that, but to show that he actually puts down his weapon and lets the kid and lets the girl go. Even though he has this hate for Jake Sully and his family, he lets the girl go because he wants to save the child that he barely knows. It goes away against what that character stands for. Is that character doing anything at all means necessary to get the job done?
Again, but that's still his son. That's different. That's
still layers.
But that is anybody. But still, at the end of the day, the man is evil. There is nothing. No, but my point is he redeemable? Is he redeemable at all?
He was redeemable one moment. Let me explain. Sure, even at the end, I feel kind of bad for him. He's like, son. He saw his son to come with him. My point is, bro, the character was hateful, and he didn't care about nobody but killing Jake Sully. He's a Marine. My one mission, kill this man, that's it.
Yes, and it wasn't until he saw his son.
But then he even said, you have no relation to me. You are not my blood. You are not related to me.
He said that shit after he knew damn well that he cared about the kid.
No, he did not.
Especially the moment that he started talking to him and getting to know him.
I don't think he still cared to him. He did not. But to put his weapon down, and when Jake Sully, the man he's been trying to hunt down, is right there and he has his daughter. at gunpoint where he could have Jake Sully was just out of character.
Yes, because it's his kid.
But that's not character.
But that's not something where I'm gonna be like, you know what? He's good. There's some good in him.
There is some good there. Here, perfect example.
You take any villain and give him a son, they will have a soft spot for their kid.
No, he won't. Not all villains, because this son is not related to him. It ain't like he grew up with this kid.
It's still his son, Javante.
You watch Power, right?
Yes.
Kanan, did he give a fuck about his son?
That's different, bro. Kanan is a fucking different medium.
That's an evil person. That was not redeemable. He was an evil person, right? He did not care about his kid because at the end of the day, he had one mission. His mission was to kill ghosts. Same thing right here. If your mission is to do one thing, I don't give a fuck about you. You are not my son. Killmonger was the same way. Killmonger killed his own girlfriend because he had a mission. His mission was to get to Wakanda. Same thing, bro. The character set up at a point where the character is set up to hate Jake Sully so much and want to have this man's head and his family's head. And now he has the family at a vulnerable moment, and he puts his gun down to save a kid that he barely knows. I'm not saying I'm proud with it. I'm just saying that's a layer of a character. You're talking about you want an evil character. He's still evil. Don't get it twisted. What I'm saying is there is a layer of that character that says, hey, he's not all bad.
But he's not. No. There is no redeeming quality.
Redeeming quality.
There is no one.
Just saved a child.
There is no one out here saying, you know what, Miles Quaritch, he ain't that bad.
Listen, what I'm saying is he just showed a part of redeeming by
That's not redeemable.
Yes, it is, because he put the kid first. Instead of his own Marine mission and his own kill Jake Sully, he put the child in first.
Oh, Jesus Christ, bro! This is really how you think? Man,
that makes bro? This character was not. So you said this character was not set to hate Jake Sully the whole time throughout this movie.
Yes.
So the one moment he has Jake Sully there, he's willing to put his gun down and sacrifice killing Jake Sully to save a child that he barely knows.
Yes, because it's still his son, and his son was about to die. Now, if his son came out and said, "Dad, don't do this," and is just standing there like, "Dad, don't do this," like, "Please, don't do this," and he let him go. That is something that I'll be like, "Oh, you know what? Okay, maybe he's as redeemable and all this shit." But when someone else is about to kill your fucking kid, no,
the kid had no fucking remorse for his. The kid literally told him.
It didn't matter. It was still his kid.
No, that doesn't. DeAndre, bro, I'm gonna get off after this. You can say a kid's your blood. He ain't his kid. Just because somebody's your blood don't mean they're your kid, bro. That's his blood. Yeah, like Kanan. That's my blood. But motherfucker, you don't son to me. Same thing with this situation. The kid was not his son. He didn't show a bond. Sure, yeah, motherfucker showed him how to do some shit. But there was no real connection where you're like, oh, that's his father. That's like there's our father-son bond there. To put my gun down when I'm on a mission to kill this man, the leader, I'm on a mission and I'm choosing to put my gun down for a kid I barely know. That's all I'm saying. But you continue on with the rest of the story. The rest of it.
This man, okay. Anyway, like I mentioned with that, as far as like introducing, like with Sigourney Weaver, how she came back and how Quaritch came back. So Quaritch, he came back because. Right before his mission in the last movie, his final mission where he died, he sent his DNA and samples down to Earth where they used it for Avatar that they were making for him. So that's how he was able to come back for this one. And Sigourney Weaver, as you remember in the first movie, right when she dies, she says, "I'm with Awa." So apparently her Avatar was pregnant or became pregnant, and then it birthed. A baby Avatar known by the name as Kiri, and so Jake and Neytiri adopt her into their family, and then they tease like, oh, who's her dad, which I'm pretty sure we all can establish and point that Awa technically is her dad. It's kind of similar to Star Wars with the Force and Anakin's mom. Anakin had no father, so it's kind of similar to that. Like, she is a child of Awa and her mother, which is why she has these powers. Why she has a strong connection to Awa in the movie as well. And it's not something where they cover entirely in this movie. I'm guessing they're going to cover it down the line in the next films as well. So there's that. And I'll say the first 45 minutes to an hour, they're not even in water. Like, the first third of the movie, they're just trying to establish how much Jake and Neytiri's family has grown over the years, and then you get Quaritch and the other Marines being briefed on Jake and the Navi's whereabouts. Eventually, they hunt down Jake and his kids, which causes Jake to panic and get his family out of there, and they ultimately leave their tribe and head over to the Water Tribe. Another thing I really liked about this film was the fact that it aged with the audience, because I would have been a little bit upset had they just continued right where the first movie left off. Instead, they filled in a time gap where they have a bunch of kids now. It's been about as long as the first movie came out, so I'm guessing probably like 15 years. I'm guessing. So I was happy that they did that as well.
No, I agree. I think the time gap worked. I think the kids were all great. They do give you a lot of time with the kids to be able to explore their personalities and learn more about them and kind of grow to like them and develop a relationship with them to where you care about them. And they still do give Jake and his wife a lot of time on screen as well.
I felt like Neytiri was kind of sidelined a little bit in this movie, but when she was on screen, like when she was in action.
Yeah, she had moments. Yeah, for sure.
Zoe Saldana can act. Like, she can do that shit.
Yeah. So I agree. I think I agree with all that. The kids were dope. Liked them all. The water scenes were cool. I prefer actually when they're in the forest. I actually prefer the forest stuff over the water personally. So I like the visuals of the first one better as far as where everything takes place at. But overall, enjoy the journey of seeing the traveling and seeing, all that kind of stuff, to how to get to the water and stuff like that, and how to get to find these new people and stuff like that. So all that was done very well. Even our new characters we learned from the water tribe are great. The little girl, the siblings, they're all great.
I'm not going to lie. I thought the little girl was Holly Bailey. I thought she was playing the little girl. Turns out it was Bailey Bass. But, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that thought that was Holly Bailey.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I can't complain about that. I thought the kids were amazing. I thought all that worked out very well. So.
Yeah. And when the action picked up, especially towards the end of the movie, it was great. Great shit. Loved it all. Neytiri, shit. She was on demon mode. That whole ooh, yeah. She is not one to piss off.
Yeah, and you get that family aspect of a family of like, you lose someone or you lose one of your child. That's how you respect the reaction to be. So they did a great job with that. Another complaint I have is I feel like there wasn't enough predators in the water. I felt the water there wasn't enough fears, especially when they went to the deep part. Like seeing that one creature wasn't enough for me. I wanted to see multiple things that would eat them in the water. You know what I mean? Kind of in the first movie, we saw a couple things that would kill them if they could. But I wish we could have saw more of that in the water. That'd be a cool aspect to show of like just some more sea creatures that are dangerous and can kill you, especially when they went to the deep water. So they weren't with a men hunt. So that's another thing I look at. And another positive to go with DeAndre said is the women in this movie are all powerful. The wife, even though she's pregnant, she's powerful and dope. So like you see, they do the women a lot of justice and give the women a lot of power, which is something that in Native American culture and especially in warrior culture, some of the women were the best fighters and stuff like that. So to see that displayed in this film was great to me. I love seeing that, and I don't feel like it was overdone or forced on you in a way where it's like, oh, it's just trying to spread some propaganda. I don't think it was done like that. I thought it was very authentic and well done. So credit there too.
Yeah.
I had a few complaints. I can't lie. I keep it real.
Yeah, your complaints are kind of out of here though. But
what you mean? You didn't want to see no more predators in the water?
I mean, there was one.
There was one, and everybody else was all smooth sailing. Again, there was no other predators.
Again, it was on the deep end.
That's my point. There should be more animals.
And technically, Paitu or Python, whatever the fuck, he's a predator technically.
Yeah, but I want to see more dangerous predators trying to eat them. It's like I want to see more of the fear of if you do go in the water, what's out there possibly.
But again, he was out there. He had a predator attack.
The ocean's a big place, but you can't tell me just one.
But that's what I'm saying. They only had one.
That's what I'm saying. I would have showed him off later on. I would have had moments where I would have showed a couple more scenes.
But you also got to remember the rest of the scenes where they were in water and swimming around on their things. It was in their village near them. So
exactly. No, but then they went back out to the predators, out deep again. When they were getting chased by the military people, the Marines.
So you want to see more predators in that scene?
I would like to see more predators. Even the predators are coming out the water to kill the bad guys. I want to see more predators. I want to see more creatures. If you look at the first one, even when the village comes together, the damn hound dogs, whatever things are, everything, the horns, all that shit comes out of there to help the people. I just want to see more animals, sea creatures come out of the water to help.
Okay.
Which they lacked on. I would think after seeing it twice and after a couple of days, you also have some more.
Well, I mean, I would think, seeing them fly on those damn creatures that they were already attacking and shit, it would have been it just would have been too much if you
Not
throw
really.
all that shit.
Bro, you're making an excuse for this film. The first one did the same thing. The first one had the flying creatures. You had damn things on the land. You had all kinds of stuff going on. I would like to see more sea creatures.
You had things flying and you had things on the land. It was two separate things. However, in this movie, you're having just one set, which is on water.
Bro, but you only showed one whale come out of the water. That was the main one. You could.
Yes, and the whale had a reason to come out the water.
But you could have shown
defending his boy.
If Awa's connected to the people, Awa's connected to the people and everything, you could have shown more creatures coming to help fight. That's what I'm trying to say, bro.
I do have one complaint, and I mean to that is that once the fighting cleared out, everybody kind of just dipped, and I was like, okay, where did they just go? Because it was just Jake and Neytiri and their kids. Like, that was it on the boat, and they just were like, okay, well, I guess
they don't need to fight no more. Home.
I guess they handling their business, like,
yeah,
shit. They never even came back to retrieve their daughter. They were just like, oh, well, I guess she's somewhere.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too.
She was over there with Nateum in his body.
Yeah, that's a problem also I have with this film. I agree.
With what?
What you said, I think that's a big thing too, like where everybody just go all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But to my point, in the first one, I felt like the battle scene was done way better. I thought it was well more just thought out, and even the cut scenes of going to different fight scenes were just better done, I think.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I would agree with.
But respect to my boy Pygon or whatever Pycon. He a real one. That man don't let his biology and what the fuck he is define him. Shit, they talking about, oh, they're supposed to be peaceful animals and everything. He said, fuck that.
Yeah.
They attack me, I want all smoke. And that man came for everybody.
And there's the message always in Avatar movies about culture and nature and stuff like that, and you're gonna still get that here that you got in the first movie. But for the most part, I can't knock the movie. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think it's a great movie. It's fun. Definitely go see it if you haven't. If you can go see it in IMAX 3D, like DeAndre said, go see it in IMAX 3D. If you can't, then you just go see it. But I think it's a good film. If you like the first one, I think you'll like the second one probably better. If you didn't like the first one, you should go see it. But I don't think you'll like the second one either. I don't think this is for you.
Also, respect to my boy Jake. He didn't go out like no pussy either. Old boy told him, I'm coming for you and your family and all that. He said, let's get it done.
I doubt it would be off the end of it like that.
What, they just walked away?
Yeah, I doubt it'd be better with that.
Fuck that. No, hell no.
Somebody
say that? No, Jake made the correct response. That is exactly, if Jake would have walked away after him saying that shit, I would have been like, nah. Somebody say that shit, you gotta end that shit. That's my there.
That's my problem with the thing though, with the damn villain, because he let them walk. He let them go. He let them go.
He said he was coming after them.
But for a kid that you barely know, it just don't make no sense.
It's his kid, though.
You don't know the kid.
It's still his kid.
Bro, you don't know the kid. It
doesn't matter, Javante. It is your kid.
Yes, it does matter, bro. This is not a human. He's not human. He literally says the whole movie, I have no connection. Even the chick tells him, he's not your son. I have no connection to you. My memories say you're my child. You are not my biological child.
Okay, but still, the fact that it's in his memories, he still is going to hold on to that. That's his kid.
Okay, my point is, DeAndre, I have my enemy right here. If I'm evil and I'm that guy, I'm going to say, fuck that. I'm shooting your ass.
Really?
If I'm that evil and I'm on a mission, yes, I don't give a fuck about nobody else. If you're an evil villain, right? You don't give a fuck how anybody else feels. You don't care about hurting other people. You don't care. You don't care about the civilians or the average person getting hurt because you're there for one mission and one mission only. That's what a villain does, right?
Okay. He's a villain.
No, he is a. I'm not saying he's not a villain.
I'm saying, but he's a villain. He could still care for his fucking kid and be a villain. There's no problem with that.
To me, all I'm saying, I'm not saying he can't be a villain. All I'm saying is your whole thing about layers and shit like that. He has layers. Then he's not a straight villain. He has layers.
No, I'm just talking about as far as like the villains that are redeemable. Layers was the wrong term, sure. I'm talking about as far as those redeemable, as far as those ones where you could be like, you know what? From his perspective, he's a good guy.
He can still be redeemable.
And I'm not even just talking about Korg. I'm just talking about them in general, the Sky people in general.
Fine, the Sky people, yes. Korg can be redeemable.
No.
Yes, because you just showed him. First off, he has a heart for his son. Second off, he's also an Avatar too. You can always change him up and make him redeemable. You have 4 more films, you said, right? Or 3 more films.
If they do that, then that's bullshit. And also, James Cameron already said he's the villain for the next 4 fucking films. So
I'm not saying he's not the villain. What I'm saying though is you can't redeem him in that last movie and say he's not a villain no more.
No, you've gone too far at this point.
Not really.
Shit,
Darth Vader did all he did.
There will probably be more people. There will probably be more people down the line that he kills. What you talking about? He literally burned the whole fucking village.
And he didn't kill nobody. He just burnt the village. He didn't kill no bodies. Darth Vader's redeemable. We love redeem Darth Vader all the time.
Jesus Christ.
That's all I'm saying. But I'm just saying.
I mean, okay. Hey, that's that MCU That's that long history of that MCU villain.
Bro, was Vader not redeemed?
Dealing with.
Was Vader not redeemed?
Huh? Vader was a good guy originally.
Was he not redeemed? He turned evil. He did a lot of evil.
He was a good guy who turned evil.
Bro, he's done just as much evil as this nigga has in these movies.
Okay.
And he was redeemed. Okay. Killing kids, all kind of shit. Redeemed. Okay. So redeemed is redeemed, bro. That's my point. Vader was redeemed. Go ahead.
I mean, if that's your opinion.
Motherfucker, he don't agree with that shit.
Oh, shit, sorry. What else? And yeah, credit to the performances. Again, Zoe Saldana, she was sidelined a little bit in this movie compared to the first one, but when she was on screen, when she gave her performance, you know.
Yeah, music was pretty good too. The music was good.
Yeah, it was good, especially because they replaced. Well, the guy who composed the first one died a couple years ago in the plane crash, so they replaced him. Which he did a pretty good job, you know, filling in. You know, a lot of the score still had its moments. You know, it struck a nerve, especially for certain scenes. You know, I love that one that they used in when Sute got shot off the damn plane in the first one. They used that for the well scene. Mm-hmm. So I love that score that they used.
I knew that someone was gonna die. I already knew it was gonna die.
Yeah, it seemed likely that was gonna happen.
It just seemed too cliche.
For me, I knew it right when he was leaving. He was like, "He's not your brother. I'm your brother." And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, something about to happen to him." And then I was like, "He's gonna regret it. Something's gonna happen to him. He's gonna regret it. It's gonna be like that."
I thought the whole movie, Doc Hollis said he's the perfect son. It's usually how it goes. Like you look at even like Troy or any other movie that one. You have Shark Tale. Even you look at that, like the perfect son who follows the father's directions and orders, always dies, and you have the one that's kind of the fuck up to carry on and try to like live up to his father's expectations and stuff like that. So I wasn't surprised. It was very cliche, but it worked. It was emotional because you already get connected with these characters and this family, so you didn't want to see it. But overall, man, good movie. I can't complain about the movie.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see where everybody ranks on their top 10 list of the year. But solid film. Can't knock it. I'm glad it's doing well. Glad it's getting the love it deserves.
Yeah. And even his other son, like Loak, like I think the reason why like him and his dad are at odds is because Loak is exactly like Jake, you know?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Like he's exactly like him. Like that's like he acts like him. That's why like they're at such a at odds against each other, you know. But I liked a lot of the kids. I liked all of Jake's kids in this film. You know, and Toot again, adorable. Loved her. I kind of thought that was a little repetitive in the film where his kids they kept getting captured and shit. I was like, God damn, like this. Why don't y'all stay y'all ass at home? This feels like the Taken franchise. Like just stay your ass.
That's
at
why
house.
I said, bro. Like, they don't have much they can really do because they're doing. Never mind. Go ahead.
But it was cute when she called that shit out and she was like, I can't believe I'm tied up again. Like, you know, so, you know, was funny at that from that moment. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, again, man, I think it's a film where visually it's amazing. Plot, it's not far-fetched. It's not great or amazing to match the visuals. But again, I enjoy it. I enjoy these films. I enjoyed the first one. Of course, after 13 years, the hype kind of died down, but it's back up again for me. I can't wait to see what they do for sequels moving forward. And yeah, I'm invested in this franchise moving forward, so can't wait for more. Again, I enjoyed it, 9.5 out of 10. Definitely will be in my top 10 movies of 2022. So amazing experience. I definitely say again, if you're gonna watch it, for the best experience, definitely IMAX in 3D. Because honestly, after that, you probably don't ever want to watch it anything below. I'm kind of going to be disappointed, especially when I get it on DVD and watch it at home. I'm going to be like, well, this is nothing like the way I watched it in theaters. So, but again, amazing experience. I definitely recommend for you guys. If you, like Javante said, if you didn't enjoy the first one, I don't think you'll enjoy this movie. But if you like the first one, I think you'll believe that this one is better. So again, definitely check it out. I recommend.
No, I agree. I got much else to say. It's gonna be possibly in the top 10. We'll see if it makes it. When we do our review on it, or do our top 10 review for the year. But after 13 years, it's cool to have it back. You get Brian right away back into the world. I'm curious to see what the third and fourth film look like. Like, especially the third film, since it's coming out in a year or two from now, and it's gonna be way more closer. I'm curious to see how successful this franchise is going to be down the line and how much people are going to be invested into it. I definitely think the plot has to get better for people to be really invested into the future of 5 to 6 films. And they've already made it clear that they got to see how the third and fourth one do before they do a 5 and 6. So we might not begin those. We got to see how these do first. So I know this one's doing very well, though, but we'll see what the future holds.
It's definitely, I mean, it's already crossed $1 billion. I think it'll probably hit 1.7 at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Office, so we'll see. But again, excited for the future of Avatar moving forward. Can't wait. But yeah, what did you think of Avatar: The Way of Water movie? Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this review, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I'm DeAndre.
I'm Javante.
And this is Dre and Jay.
Deuces.